Elijah Brooks was just 15 years old, soft-spoken, kind-hearted, the kind of kid who'd hold the door open for strangers or carry groceries for the old lady next door without being asked. He didn't talk back, didn't cut class, didn't cause trouble. On that particular Saturday, Elijah just wanted a simple day out, a trip to the Greenhaven Galleria with his best friends Jonah, Dre, and Mikey, sneakers, burgers, girls they were too nervous to talk to, nothing fancy, just laughs and light. Except that watch. That watch changed everything. See, a week before, Elijah had turned 15, and his mom, Angela, a woman who didn't splurge often, who worked double shifts and skipped vacations, handed him a small velvet box. "Happy birthday, baby," she said with a proud smile. Inside was a silver Tag Heuer watch, real, sleek, clean. Something you see in music videos, not on the wrist of a teenager who still did extra credit in biology. He stared at it like it might vanish. "Mom, this thing probably costs more than my life." Angela just laughed. "I work hard. Don't argue with your mother." So, yeah, Elijah felt good that day. New navy hoodie, crispy Jordans, and that silver watch hugging his wrist like armor. He wasn't showing off, but it sparkled, and people noticed. They moved through the mall like any other group of teens, cracking jokes, trying on hats, daring each other to ask for free samples, not bothering anyone, not stealing, just existing. But for some people, that's enough. They were just stepping out into the parking lot when the sirens chirped. Blue lights, slick tires. A cruiser rolled up fast, cutting across the lot like a shark in shallow water. Officer Coleman. Broad shoulders, mirrored shades. That slow walk cops do when they think they've already won. He wasn't looking at anyone else. Only Elijah. The laughter died. Elijah Dre mumbled. But it was too late. The cruiser door slammed shut. Coleman stepped out, hand resting casually on his belt, eyes zeroed in like a sniper. "That yours?" He wasn't pointing at Elijah. He was pointing at the watch. Elijah blinked. "Yeah," he said, voice steady but soft. "It's mine." Coleman tilted his head like the watch had insulted him. "Nice piece." "Must have been a good day at the mall," he said, stepping closer. "Or did you and your boys find some extra opportunities?" Jonah stiffened. "We didn't do nothing, man." Coleman ignored him. He circled the group like a lion before it pounces. The air got thicker. People nearby slowed down, watching. Phones came out, fingers hovered near record buttons. "I've been on this beat a long time," Coleman muttered, tapping his temple. "And my gut tells me a high schooler doesn't just walk out with a $3,000 watch." Elijah wanted to scream, wanted to say, "Check the security footage. Call my mom. Just use your brain." But logic doesn't matter when someone already made up their mind about who you are. Instead, he reached for his wallet, slowly, carefully. He handed over his school ID. Coleman didn't even blink. He just looked at the photo, read the name. "Elijah Brooks," he muttered. 15, and walking around like a big shot. Elijah tried again. "My mom gave it to me. It was a birthday gift." "Turn around," Coleman said. "What?" "Hands behind your back." The words hit like bricks. His heart thundered. "You're making a mistake." The cuffs snapped. Cold steel bit into his wrists. Gasps rippled through the parking lot. Someone shouted, "He's just a kid." But Coleman didn't flinch. Just pushed Elijah toward the cruiser like a sack of lies. He didn't fight. Fighting never made it better. He just walked. The door slammed shut behind him. The world shrunk behind that glass. His breath fogged the window as he stared at his reflection. Wide eyes, trembling lip, and that damn watch still gleaming like a spotlight on his wrist. For the first time since he'd put it on, the watch didn't make him feel grown. It made him feel like a target. And all he could think was, "Mom, please." The holding room smelled like bleach and old sweat. Elijah sat alone, the cuffs now hooked to a metal loop on the table. He didn't cry, not because he wasn't scared, but because, even in here, he couldn't afford to, not in front of them. 30 minutes passed. Maybe more. Officers walked by. Some glanced in. None said a word. Except Coleman. He made sure to walk slow. Smug. Like this was a game he'd already won. Then the door cracked open. A young officer stepped in, black, maybe mid-20s, not hardened yet. She glanced at Elijah's wrists. Her lips tightened. "You good, kid?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. Elijah didn't answer. She stepped closer. "Your mom's name?" "Angela Brooks." His head snapped up. "Yeah." She nodded, face unreadable. "I'll be right back." And then she was gone. 5 minutes later, the room went silent. Footsteps outside, then the door opened wide. And there she was. Chief Angela Brooks. Black slacks, white shirt, gold badge, eyes like fire behind ice. Elijah had never been so relieved and so scared to see his mother. She didn't look at him at first. Her gaze locked on Coleman, who was lounging by the doorway. "Uncuff him," she said. Her voice cut through like broken glass. The officer behind her scrambled. The cuffs clattered to the table. Elijah rubbed his wrists, red, raw. "Show me the footage," Angela said, still not looking at her son. They moved to the monitor room. Angela watched the tape, every frame, every second. Elijah and his friends, laughing, trying on sunglasses, eating fries. The watch already on his wrist when they walked in. No theft, no sketchy behavior. Nothing. Just black kids being kids. When the tape stopped, the room was so quiet you could hear Coleman swallowing. Angela turned to him slowly. "So we're arresting teenagers now because their accessories look suspicious." Coleman opened his mouth, but no words came. Angela didn't blink. "You acted on prejudice. Don't insult me by pretending otherwise." Within the hour, Internal Affairs was called. Coleman was suspended, pending full investigation. Elijah sat quietly in the passenger seat of his mom's car, staring out the window as Glendale passed by like nothing had happened. "Will it ever change?" he asked softly. Angela didn't answer right away. She kept her eyes on the road. "Finally," she said, "that's why I took this job. So kids like you don't have to pray their mother wears a badge." He swallowed hard. "What if I wasn't your kid?" Angela gripped the steering wheel a little tighter. Neither of them spoke. When they pulled into the driveway, she cut the engine, turned to him. "I didn't buy you that watch so people could question you," she said. "I bought it because you deserve to walk through this world knowing your worth." Elijah looked down at the watch, and for the first time that day, it didn't feel heavy. It felt like proof. He was still standing. And sometimes that's enough to start with.